Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Brothers Gaming Podcast. This is episode 32, and I'm here with Rylan, as always.
Yeah, as you guys can see on YouTube or whatever, we have the background is orange.
Orange GameCube
yeah.
matches. If you can see it in the background.
Yeah, so
But getting with the theme of fall and Halloween this month. Changing our colors from green to orange this month.
Best season.
I like it.
Yeah, best season too,
Not too hot, not too cold.
So,
pumpkin spice everything.
Yeah.
It's good.
Who doesn't love pumpkin spice?
If you don't, you suck.
You're weird. You're weird.
All right, we'll go ahead and get into it. Counter-Strike 2 surprise releases.
Yeah, I seen this on Instagram. I just said, "Oh, found a new topic."
Yeah.
So, what I got here is the rumors were right. Valve has officially launched Counter-Strike 2 today. This wasn't, of course, time of recording. This was a few days ago.
Yeah.
With a little advance warning, the company often does its own thing and launching blah blah blah. Most successful a sequel to one of the most successful games ever, basically out of nowhere, certainly lived up to its legacy. So apparently CS2 is just a better upgrade version of the original.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. It says here it's a free-to-play sequel of Counter-Strike. It's available on Steam, and there is no word of its release on any other platforms. And it says here Counter-Strike 2 was first announced back in March of this year as a free update to Counter-Strike Global Offense, with all earned items in CSGO carrying over to the new game. A limited test was offered to current CSGO players with invitations to test the sent to users based on parameters like playing time and Steam account status. So I guess in all items from the original CSGO, you can, play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So it says the game is now available to download on Steam for free, albeit a paid option to acquire Prime status is available. Similar to the game's predecessor, Prime members are matched with each other and will receive exclusive souvenir items, item drops, and weapon cases. While the game is basically considered a new one, you could also see as an upgrade for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. For those who aren't familiar with the early test version of the game, it comes with the following goodies. All new CS ratings with updated Premier Mode, global and regional leaderboards, upgraded and overhauled maps, game-changing dynamic smoke grenades, tick rate independent gameplay, redesigned visual effects and audio, all items from CSGO moving forward to CS2. To celebrate their release, Valve also released a trailer showing some gameplay and celebrating the franchise's competitive esports roots. So that's pretty cool. Have you ever played Counter-Strike?
Yeah, I played it whenever I first got my PC back almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
It's weird. I've had this PC for that long already.
I've heard some good things about Counter-Strike, and I've never personally played it, but I've heard it's decent.
Yeah, it's a good game. I would say that.
Okay.
It's like, see, Valorant is like a Halo kind of, it's like kind of a Halo themed kind of game, the graphics wise. But it has CSGO, like movement and all that.
Okay.
How it's played is like CSGO. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys can go check it out. All right, so Jim Ryan officially stepping down at Sony.
Yeah, he's ran Sony for 5 years, 4 years, something like that.
Ran him to the dirt.
2019. Yeah. But I mean, he's released few good games though, like Ghost of Tsushima.
I think they'd come
That's
out
about it.
whether he was there or not, honestly.
Yeah, probably. But it says here the head of PlayStation is stepping down. Sony announced in a press release today. Of course, might not have been today. Probably wasn't today. Jim Ryan, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO, is retiring after just 4 years on the job.
Yep, just 4 years.
Just 4 years, Ashton. You hear that crap?
No,
Bunch of
lazy.
bull. He got lazy. But it says here the massive upshake in leadership comes as the PS5 breaks sales records and as Sony has doubled down on prestige blockbuster games like The Last of Us Part 1 and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Again, cannot play that because it's on PS5 only. I'm gonna bring that up every single time we mention
until they change it.
After 30 years. Okay, so he said here, after 30 years, I've made a decision to retire from SIE in March of 2024.
So I guess he's
Ryan
been
said
with the
in a
company
statement.
30 years.
Yeah, but he hasn't made games with the company.
He hasn't been CEO
I'm pretty sure.
for 30 years.
Says, I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with great people and incredible partners, but I've found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America. So,
Oh, so he lives in Europe.
Yeah, he doesn't live in North America where Sony is.
Huh. Did not know that.
That's probably really difficult.
Oh
to
yeah,
be the CEO
I would say
of like the biggest gaming, biggest,
one of the biggest
company,
gaming
one of the biggest
companies.
companies in the world. Yeah, and just overall companies with their movies and whatnot.
Which technically Sony is from Europe, like they're a Japanese company, so Eurasia or whatever, Asia, over that way. So, is that all you got?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, basically Jim Ryan stepping down. Says whose current job title is president and CEO of Sony Interactive, has been with the company for nearly 30 years across its various divisions, including PlayStation. Announcing his retirement, Ryan said, I've relished the opportunity to have a job I love in a very special company, working with great people and incredible partners, but I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America, like you said. I believe having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world, PlayStation will always be a part of my life, and I feel more optimistic than ever about the future of SIE. I mean, he'd done some good things.
So he's been with the company for a long time.
Yeah, but lately he hasn't done Sony much good. He's made some bad decisions. PlayStation Portal, for example, that's a dumb decision.
It's a dumb idea.
It is
overall,
and just some of his decision making is just not good for the company. So, I mean, it sucks to see somebody go that's been with the company for so long, but I think it's Kenichiro Yoshida will be replacing him as CEO.
I don't know why. I cannot read Japanese names.
I can't very well.
Good at all.
I can't.
But
hopefully, I mean,
it's weird.
Hopefully, he'll do a better job than Jim Ryan has in recent times. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so we'll go on to the next one. Sonic Superstars frame rate confirmed for Switch.
Okay, so what I got here is in an interview with Den Famicom Gamer, the Famicom Gamer, I guess. Naoto Oshima confirmed that the Nintendo Switch version of Sonic Superstars will run at 30 frames per second, unlike Sonic Frontiers, which ran at a solid 30 frames per second on the Switch. It seems like all versions of Sonic Superstars will stay on par with the other consoles. The game combined classic 2D gameplay with enhanced 3D graphics, featuring 2 act zones and a local multiplayer mode for up to 4 players. So, yeah, that's all I have.
All right. So yeah, Sonic Superstars will run at a smooth 60 frames per second on Switch. Frame rates aren't necessarily everything in a game, but can be quite important if gameplay relies on quick reactions from the player. With this in mind, Sonic Superstars development producer and character designer Naito Oshima recently confirmed the game will run at 60 frames per second, even on the Nintendo Switch. That's good. A 2D game like that is easier to get to run 60 frames on a lower powerful system like the Switch. So I'm happy they didn't get lazy and just make it 30 frames just because it's on the Switch. A lot of companies do that. So I'm happy it's going to be 60 frames.
Yeah, that's nice. That's more of it's a more frame rate for the Switch. All the games are like 30.
Most of them are 30.
That's awesome.
The majority.
Yeah, I mean, frames don't matter, really.
Not really. I mean, you can get used to some games you can tell they don't run right, but a lot of games you can get used to it. So like Fortnite, for example, I can play it at 30 frames per second and I can get kills, I can win, it's not that big of a deal. And I can play at 120 frames per second too. Yeah. Just whatever you get used to, I can play it fine. But like a game, say Mario Kart 8, for example, if it's 30 frames per second, you can tell, and it's probably, it's unplayable at 30 frames per second. So it just depends on the game. Racing games definitely need to be 60 frames per second. And a fast-paced game like Sonic, you could probably tell. Maybe not a 2D Sonic you could tell as much, but a 3D Sonic for sure. Like, say, for Sonic.
Sonic Frontiers.
Right. I mean, it on the Switch may not be so bad, but like if you're on the PS5 or the Xbox Series and it's running 30 frames per second, you can probably tell.
Yeah. So they need to probably start doing that with racing games, making a higher frame rate so it'll run better because how fast paced it is.
Right. And like Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, it runs 60 frames. So, I mean, there are games that run 60 frames. Skyward Sword HD runs 60 frames. There's a few that do run 60 frames.
Yeah. But, I would just say for like some of the action games and like racing games and stuff like that, like just make it 60 frames per second. You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch is it's not
some
powerful.
Games on the Switch.
It's not powerful, but it's more powerful than what people think it is.
Yeah, it can run 60 frames.
Yeah, I mean, it can. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. Epic lays off hundreds of employees.
Yeah, I seen this. I was like, what? I didn't even hear about this.
I didn't either until I was looking for topics and I was like, huh, that sucks.
Yeah, that's crazy, honestly. It says here, Epic Games, the creator of Unreal Engine and the popular game Fortnite, no one really talks about like Gears of War or whatnot, good franchise, the Gears of War franchise. Right. But it says here is reportedly laying off 16% of its workforce, which works out at around 900 employees. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Letting that many people go.
I mean, and Epic makes money, especially from Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Fortnite's their most popular game of all time.
Yeah.
Because, it was the first ever free battle royale game.
Mm-hmm.
So that just took it off. And the building mechanic was unique,
And people buy skins crazy.
Yeah, all the collabs and everything.
Yeah.
But it says here the news comes via Bloomberg with a person familiar with the matter stating that an internal announcement of the job cuts was sent out to staff memo. In the memo, CEO Tim Sweeney stated, "For a while now, we have been spending way more money than we earn." So they've been spending a lot of money probably on like Fortnite stuff, making all the skins and other games that they're making and stuff.
Right. I mean, they
It
own
says,
Rocket League
as I
now and a
said,
bunch of other games.
Yeah, they own a whole bunch of the games. It says, "I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see this was unrealistic. A total of 870 employees will be affected, and Sweeney states that no more job cuts are being planned beyond this, and around 2/3 of the cuts are said to be within teams that lie outside Epic's core development." So
nobody
I'd
off like the
say
Fortnite
one of the
team or,
yeah, but I feel like one of the reasons why they're laying off people is they're not making as much money as they used to, because a lot of the games they've made have died down.
oh, I mean,
Like Rocket
yeah.
League, it was really popular at some point. Same as Fortnite. Fortnite especially isn't as popular as it used to be.
No,
Their max player capacity was 400 million players. That's a lot.
that's a lot.
It's a
It's
lot of
definitely not
people.
that big anymore.
But
I mean,
now, yeah, but now like 90 something million players play the game. That's
yeah,
still a lot of people,
but not
but it's
as
not as
nearly as
much as
much.
yeah, not as nearly as much. And Fortnite gave them a lot of their money also,
Oh, yeah.
because all the skins and cosmetics and stuff. Not many people are getting those cosmetics compared
Epic
to the
wouldn't
400
be
million people playing the
successful
game.
like they are if it wasn't for Fortnite.
I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, the Gears of War franchise and stuff like that. That franchise was good. Yeah,
Gears of
it
War,
was pretty successful and everything.
Gears of War is
The
made
Epic
by
Games made
Microsoft.
Gears of War. No, yeah, I know, but Gears of War is made by Epic Games also. Did you not know that?
No, I knew it was made by Microsoft, but I didn't know it was made by Epic too.
Yeah, it's one of their like most successful things.
I know Gears of War is
But
successful. Yeah, it's a good game.
yeah,
I mean, they're all good
but
games. There's like 5 of them.
yeah, they're all good games. 6, something like that.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big franchise.
yeah,
But yeah, that's all I have.
yeah. Really, not much more to add. It just sucks that 870 people are losing their job, but I mean, it's
Yeah, it
happening
sucks.
around
I feel bad for
the whole gaming space
the
because
world.
Sega,
Just
they're
everywhere.
doing layoffs. They're canceling games because they're losing money. I think.
I feel like just a whole bunch of gaming companies right now are just losing a whole bunch of money.
Well, the thing of it is, gaming got really, really big when COVID first happened because people were staying at home. They're playing games. Now, not as many people are playing games. People are still playing games more now than, ever. Like when gaming first released in the 80s, nobody played games really. So gaming is more popular now than it ever has been, but not nearly as many people play now as in 2020.
But play it as much.
Because they don't have time. They have to work, Instead of just sitting on the couch all day and playing a game, they got to go to work. So people, they're losing money.
Exactly.
So it'll get back to normal. But yeah, it sucks to see so many layoffs and
Eventually,
people
but
losing money. So yeah, eventually we'll get back.
Yeah, that does suck for all those people that have just lost their jobs and everything.
Yeah, it does, definitely. All right. Moving on to our last topic. Has gaming changed since you were younger? Have you noticed it change at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in the popularity of gaming. First ever console was the Xbox 360. It was amazing, as I say quite a bit on this podcast. But yeah, it's my first console. I can't just forget it. Yeah.
Right.
It's actually right here, like on my thing, just sitting there with my PS3, PS4, and dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Which, if you guys don't know, that's the Xbox One,
Original. Yep.
the original one, the big old bulky
Black one.
thing. It's like the size of the PlayStation 5.
Big old VCR.
Crazy seeing like from pixelated games because I've played a lot of like the older games too, like a lot of the Nintendo 64 games, GameCube games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, but the graphics wise is insane. It's going from that to now where you have like the most realistic graphics that of course they're going to get even more realistic somehow. I don't know how though. It's crazy how like
they will.
realistic the games are now. Yeah, soon they'll actually look like this, like us.
Yeah.
You know, that'll be, of course,
Down the road.
probably 30, 40, yeah, that'll be years from now. But there's definitely a major difference from whenever, you know, I was littler playing games back on the 360 and older consoles and stuff to now. It's insane, honestly. Just watching gaming just develop like that. It's just unreal to me, honestly.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, gaming's changed since I was younger because, you know, of course, when I was younger, I played the NES, SNES, but first console I played was N64. I mean, the console was 2 years old when I was born, so played N64, the original PlayStation, in the late 90s, and then, of course, the best console ever made came out in 2001, the GameCube, played crap ton of it, PS2 came out, you know. So obviously graphics have changed since then, but I'm going to take this topic to a different side. I was just actually talking to Colin about this after we got done recording. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but gaming's changed because there's a lot of good games out there. But for me, it could have just been I've changed because it's hard for me to find a game that I like to play. It used to be I could play almost any game when I was younger, but now I'm picky. Like, not just any game I'll play.
That's how I am.
Like,
that's how I am.
It's not that I don't like gaming. I mean, obviously, I got 2 podcasts about gaming. I love gaming. Just, I'd rather play older games than newer games because there's so many microtransactions in these new games, and they're just not the same as they don't put the same amount of love into them as what they used to, it feels like.
Yeah. Back then, you know, and also there's a lot of games just suck now.
Right. And
just in how they're made and stuff. Like, example, Redfall. I'm always going to bring up Redfall.
It was hyped up, and then it just sucked.
That's how a lot of games are now.
Yeah, and they're hyped up, and then they just release with so many bugs, nobody wants to play them.
Back then, a lot of games were hyped up, but they actually lived to the expectations.
Right, because there was no free online updates. Like, you released it on a disc or you released it on a cartridge, and that's how the game stayed. There was no bug fixes or anything. Yeah. You had to release it ready.
And that's how it should be. It had to be perfect.
Yeah, it had to be perfect, or it was going to fail.
Sometimes I kind of wish they would just go back with all the digital. Stop the digital stuff.
Yeah.
Go back to discs.
Disc, cartridges.
Make your games without bugs.
And don't have to download after putting the disc in. Just put the disc in and play. Don't have to put the disc in and wait 3 hours to download. You know?
I know. That's really dumb.
I miss
just don't understand
the old days. I miss the old days of gaming. I mean, we'll never get those days back. It'll never be the same. I just wish that developers would put more love back into the games like they used to in the early 2000s, late 90s. You know, I mean, even when gaming first started on the NES, I mean, Ataris, you know, back in the 70s, but, you know, really gaming started taking off in the 80s with the NES, SNES, and then early 90s. You know, just games were good. Put love into them.
Yeah.
It was simpler times.
I mean, of course, gaming's like more popular now, but like,
I mean, there are good games now. Like, I like playing current games, just not as many as I used to older games because just they don't put enough love into them. There's too many microtransactions. It's all online. You can't play on offline hardly any games anymore.
And I kind of stopped finding a lot of games fun after
Dude,
like 2018. Like 2018, after that year, kind of cut off like
yeah, I'm like
where I
even
got really picky about games because they quit like caring a lot of the
they
time
did,
just on that,
and it's sad
just
because I
making
love
games.
gaming. I mean, obviously, we both love
I mean,
gaming. We
yeah,
have
of course,
podcasts. You have a YouTube channel. You know, we love
exactly.
gaming. Just it's different, and I wish it would go back, but it won't. But you know, maybe they'll listen. Maybe they'll go back.
Yeah, I mean,
Quit the microtransactions crap.
they exactly like the only good games now that don't actually require updates is like story games,
Yeah.
like God of War Ragnarok. That was a hit
Oh,
game
that was a good
last
game.
year. It was
I
amazing.
mean, God
It
of War
was a really good
2018.
game.
It was good. The Last of Us
That was a
1 and
really good
2,
game.
good. Spider-Man
Exactly. Just I feel
remastered,
like
Miles Morales.
just the online games now just falling off because of, first of all, how many cosmetics and stuff there are in games now.
Yeah. I mean,
Because like
honestly,
the battle pass systems and everything's just
the only one that seems that hasn't changed much. I mean, Sony makes good games, Xbox makes good games, but Nintendo, they stay. You can play all their games offline.
they
You
stay.
know, you can play their Zeldas
Yeah,
offline, your Mario's. You know, all the like you could back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
they're the only company that does that.
Yeah, and
Because
I love Nintendo
Sony
for
and
that.
Microsoft,
That's
they just
that's pretty much why I mostly play my Switch and buy first party titles from Nintendo. And yeah, I have some from Microsoft and
exactly.
Sony now on my PC, but Nintendo is my go-to when it comes to games, really.
They actually care about its people and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Microsoft doesn't or whatnot,
No, and
but
Microsoft
they're
does.
they're just not. Yeah, they're just not putting as much work and stuff as they used to on
No,
games. That's
no.
all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get there's better graphics and stuff now and all that.
Right.
They're spending more money
That can
and
come
stuff.
with,
But you don't
that
have
can still
them.
come with love, you know? Just because it looks better doesn't mean you have
Yeah,
to,
you can still make it with like love and stuff. Like give what the community wants, not what you want the game to be.
yeah.
You know.
Right. All right. That was a deep dive into that. But we appreciate you
Yeah.
guys for watching or listening. I get it. You remember you can always watch us live on Kick and YouTube. Chat with us live on Kick. We'll answer you live if you want to chat in the chat box.
Yeah.
Join our Discord. We'll hang out with you. And buy our merch on Redbubble and Printify. Follow us on Instagram. And you can follow us on our personal socials, our YouTube, Twitch, Kick accounts.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not really. I just gotta say this real quick. Our average downloads on our episodes and weekly downloads have went up. Our weekly downloads is now 1,428, and our average episode downloads is 430.
It
And now our
skyrocketed
total
just in the
downloads
past couple of days.
I know, it's crazy, but our total downloads is 13,528. It's crazy how fast this podcast is growing.
Yeah.
Every day, I just watch it go up.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to see.
It's fun to watch it grow.
I deeply like, exactly, it's awesome. But thank you a lot for all that.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you guys are kind of making this dream of doing stuff like
Content
making
creators
money and
and, you
stuff
know,
online and all that. And making like being a kind of a content creator, you guys are making that come true with this podcast. So I
Yeah.
deeply appreciate it. You know, I've been doing YouTube for 3 years and I haven't gone anywhere with YouTube. In just a short 3, almost 4 months, this platform is already skyrocketed and it's going to continue to grow more and more every single day. You know, it's just thank you.
Yeah, means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. And like I said, you know, anything that we get goes back into the podcast. I just got a ton of stuff today, to help my setup and stuff. So
Yeah.
it makes better
As you
content.
guys can see,
Yeah, Rylan got
I
his.
have in the background is sound panels and stuff. I'm also gonna get a boom arm hopefully soon. So
Yeah.
bear with me.
All right. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.